Excellent. You really can't get a more typical Cuban meal than this one. I'm Shasta Darlington in Havana, and we have an enormous leg of pork. We've got yuca with garlic sauce, some fried plantains, rice and beans, which are called cungri here. And, well, it's a feast. And all of this is produced in Cuba, but not so much because Cubans are concerned about eating local. It's because it's so much cheaper than importing food. Cuba, like so many countries, is in the middle of an economic crisis. So deep, in fact, that the government has declared that slashing imports is a matter of national security. Now, a lot of Cubans prefer beef, but they really can't afford it. It's expensive here, which is why pork has become sort of the national dish. It's cheap and it's everywhere. In fact, a lot of people raise their own pigs. My neighbor, for example, here in Havana, has a pig in his backyard. I've been to an apartment where they were raising a pig in the bathroom. As you can see, the portions in popular restaurants like this one are big, verging on huge. But at the end of the meal, you'll see that most of the plates are pretty clean. And this is due to a kind of post-war mentality that grew out of the last economic crisis in Cuba in the 1990s, when protein was scarce and often people didn't know when they'd get their next meal, so they ate what food they have.
I'm not proud of this, but as a Chicago-bred American, I like food, and the more, the better, whether it be jumbo size hot dogs or personal pan cookie desserts, topped with ice cream, of course. In America, when it comes to food, size matters. Not so much in Japan. This is a classic Japanese dinner, sushi. What is valued here, it is beautifully presented, made with fresh, natural ingredients, and you may notice it is much smaller than the American dinner out. Now, when I first moved here, I would eat all this and say, that was a delicious appetizer. So it's taken some adjusting. There's a saying here in Japan that you eat from the eyes. Beauty is appreciated. Fresh, locally produced food. People here grocery shop almost every single day, so very little is processed food. And for your health, you don't stuff yourself. You only eat till you're about 80% full. And as far as dessert, 2 pieces of fruit. That's what they offer. So food here, though, is much more expensive than the United States. All of this costs about $26, and this is all before the sake. Hyung La, CNN, Tokyo. Itadakimasu.
I'm David McKenzie in Nairobi, Kenya. You know, in Kenya, the butchery and the restaurant are often in the same place. And if you want an evening meal, you do it a bit like this. How's it going? Could I have 1 kilo choma mbuzi? All right, so he's gonna now cut our meat to get our food. So this is just over 1 kilogram of goat. That's just over 2 pounds. So on the surface of it, portions in Kenya are pretty big. Take the ribs, throw it on the fire, like that. Grab a fistful of salt. Nyama choma. So the food has arrived. The goat you just saw there, and basically this is like a Kenyan meal. And when I first arrived here, I was quite surprised at the scale of the food here. You've got the goat here, you've got the maize meal over here, you've got the sukuma wiki, which is basically like local spinach, you've got the roast with potatoes, and the tomato, which is called kachumbari. But, you know, the catch is, in the US, you often eat, you know, on your own in a small group, but this is all shared with a big group of people. Enjoy.
I'm Atika Schubert at Chili's restaurant in London's Brick Lane, and this is chicken tikka masala, said to be Britain's most popular dish. Now, according to local food lore, this South Asian classic was actually invented here in Britain. Now, London is still one of the most expensive cities in the world to eat in. Dinner for 2 can easily cost upwards of $100. That may be why Londoners aren't eating out as much anymore. Since the recession, Londoners now eat out only about twice a week. Compare that to New York, 3 times a week, and Los Angeles, almost 4 times a week. And it also explains, perhaps, the popularity of chicken tikka masala, value for money. You can get all of this, pretty decent portion size, for under $10, and you can enjoy it all in the comfort of your own home.